Today we are doing a tutorial on my do-it-yourself string art kit for the simple heart design. So as you see, the kit has everything you need. There is an unfinished wooden board and the pattern is pre-drilled into the board. This is important because I take the time to do this so that this is an effortless project you can't really mess up. You'll also see that we've got a little hammer and a set of safety scissors, some nails, and some thread. You can pick your thread color on the website or on Etsy to make sure you get the thread color that you would like. There is also a set of instructions in the back with step-by-step guides, but this video is going to show you how to do that. So I'm going to set this aside and I am going to grab this board. I have already kind of whitewashed this with some paint. As you can see, it's white instead of that natural wood tone color. And I do have a video up on how to do this. So to start, I'm going to zoom in a little bit more and you see the pattern that is already drilled in. You're going to take your nails and you're going to take your hammer and you are going to gently tap all of the nails in. Now the nail should stick out about 1/2 of an inch and then it's in all the way. I do also tend to use my fingers for a lot of this, but just to keep your fingers safe, you'll want to use your hammer. I'm going to speed through this real quick. So we're going to get all of our nails in. Okay, so once all of your nails are in, you're going to want to make sure that they're all in all the way. You can take it and you can kind of check and see, like some of these are up a little bit higher than others. You're just going to want to use your hammer to get those down better. And I'm looking from my angle, these are all looking pretty good. And then once they're all in, then it's ready to take your string. Now, for the string, you're going to have about 50 feet of thread to work with. And that is a lot of thread for this given project, but sometimes it's nice to have more than you need. So I'm just going to use a thread off my wall here. I'm going with red for a classic Valentine's Day vibe. And a tip or trick, you can utilize like a bowl or something to put your little bobbin of thread in so it doesn't just roll all over the place and fall. Now for the thread, we got to get it on the nails. So I just take it in my hand and I kind of fold it over. I'll twist it and pull that loose end through so you have a pull knot. And then I opt to put it around this very bottom nail. I tie it on there nice and tight. I leave a couple inches of thread. Leave it out. We're going to take it off at the end. Now, it's important to keep your scissors handy. The kit comes with scissors, but if you have a better pair of scissors to use, keep those handy. And then you're just going to take the thread and you're going to wrap it around the nails like so. When I am doing a design like this, I like to go around the entire exterior of the shape because you're essentially creating lines to color in, because that's what string art is. You're basically coloring with string. So sometimes I'll just put my finger on top to make it easier to catch. Okay, so I have this on. Now what's important is you're going to want to keep some tension. If you let go, it will unravel. So we're going to go back. We're going to do those nails again. I am just going to take this and tie it gently here. That way it won't unravel on me, at least this part. Now with the string, there is no correct or exact way you need to be placing it. I like to take it and create long strokes back and forth from one side to another. So I'm going to go like this until I cannot go like this anymore. So I've reached the edge here where I can't do that pattern anymore, okay? And I'm going to change it. So I'm going to go at this angle. And the one thing about string art is the more you mix up what you're doing, the better it's going to look. Now, the string isn't going to exactly perfectly cover everything in the design. It's meant to show a little bit of the backboard. It's not meant to be a solid, thick thing. So we're going to just keep on going, and I'm probably going to speed it up at this point so you kind of get a general idea. Now, when it starts to feel like it's right at that edge there, what we're going to do, you see it's kind of like right up on this edge, we're just going to push it down just a little bit. Now, you don't need to push it all the way to the bottom, but just a little bit will help to give you some more room so it doesn't want to fall over the edge. So push it down a little bit, and now I can just keep on going with my string. Now, another thing to note that the end result is subjective. If you like this look and you don't want it to look too thick, you can stop here. I like a little bit of a fuller look, which is why I include 50 feet of string with the DIY kit. I want you to have enough so you can kind of make your decision on what kind of look are you going for. So we are stringing along. Now, another tip you can see, like, look at where you've gone. So if you've done a lot of left and right, but not a lot of up and down, switch it to like an up and down motion. That way you have more variety in the pattern and it will look fuller. All right, I'm pretty happy with the fullness of the project. And what I want to do is I want to put a little bit of a fuller edge on it. You don't need to do this. This is completely optional. It's just something that I liked, but I'm going to zoom in so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. I like to start at my starting point, and you want your thread on the outside side of the nail. So if we go, I go in, and I loop it around kind of like an 8, and then I go back in. Use your finger to help anchor that on there. Doing this little figure 8, if you will, along the edge of your project helps to create a little bit more of a defined border or edge. And in my experience, I just think it looks a little bit nicer when changing directions, loop all the way around it. That way it doesn't fall off the nail. Now, this is optional. Like I said, you do not need to do this. So this is different than the border that you did around the project when you started. That wasn't really visible. It's just to kind of stay inside the lines. This gives a nice finished or complete looking edge. Okay, now I looped it around and my project is pretty much complete. I am going to cut the thread. You may be right at the end of your bobbin of thread. For me, I'm not. So I'm going to cut it, and then I've got these two little pieces. I'm going to zoom in here. I'm going to tie them together. I'm going to do it twice. You don't want to pull too hard because you can break the thread if you're very, very strong. I've seen it happen. I tie it a couple of times just to be safe, and then I take my scissors and I hold them above the nail but close to it, and I snip off the extra. And now we have a completed heartstring art. And that really didn't take too long. The hardest part is getting a feel for what you're doing. So that's how you can take this kit and turn it into this. So you can purchase your DIY heartstring art kit directly on my website, hbscrafts.com, right here, or you can purchase it on my Etsy. Now, with the kits, you can select whatever color thread you want. There are 35 or more colors to choose from on the Etsy listings. So there you go. That is how we put together a do-it-yourself heartstring art kit.